Welcome to The Journey, where we talk to parents of athletes on how they got their kids to where they are. So I know we were just talking about elementary school and you said winning was a very big factor. Do you think it's as important in middle school or no?
No, I definitely would say it's not. I think development for sure is more important, especially being in the environments that we were in. You kind of see that there's a lot of talent out there. So development is certainly more important.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would agree. This is the age in middle school where, winning is always, winning is fun, right? But these guys started to come in their own and do a little bit of traveling and going to other cities and playing with other guys. And then it turns into, well, I want to be better than them. Then I think the drive really started to kick in with the twins and Zariah when, with our daughter as well. She saw the boys playing and saw how much fun they were having, and she really wanted to have that experience, I think, and that kind of pushed her to say, hey, Dad, like I want to take this serious now. And we didn't want to we wanted our kids to have fun and fall in love with the game, but if they were going to play AAU basketball, which is expensive, they needed to take it serious. That's something that we wanted them to make that decision. And then once they did, they started to kind of start the process of really putting in a little extra work.
I also think that them being in the gym with their AAU teammates, it really pushed them. I remember when we first went to practice and there was, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, but I know they would dribble with two balls. So they would do their ball handling. And I just remember seeing them and, Talon used to have what we called like his pouty face. I think he had his pouty face from elementary. I mean, even in high school, you'll see it very seldom, but we do see that same face sometimes. So they started to realize how important their development was because they wanted to be able to dribble those two balls like some of their other teammates. And the bar was set really high. We call it the blueprint. There was, I say King and Cam, they were the blueprint for what the twins wanted to be.
The work that they put in, like that's where it started. Like we were really able to pick up well, like she said, what we call the blueprint. Like those guys showed us that we thought we were doing something, but we really weren't. Like we weren't in the gym every day. We weren't, getting up 500 plus shots a day. And we weren't doing ball handling on a daily basis. Like some of the guys that we had the opportunity to be in the gym with were really putting in work. And that kind of raised the bar for us to say, hey, if you guys want to be good at this, we're going to have to sacrifice some things. And a lot of sacrifice came from us as well, as parents.
Because you pay for training. Travel is expensive.
Time to get in the gym, driving to the gym, driving from the gym, picking them up, dropping. Like it's a commitment. It's a lifestyle. It's what it is.
So were y'all on the same AAU team as elementary school and middle school?
We were, I think for us, the development we were seeing in the gym and at the pace that we were seeing it at, we knew that, there wasn't anything else like it. When we first went to practice, we fell in love with it. We saw the boys progress from elementary into middle school. And so for us, there was no other team that we even thought of, not to mention the boys' camaraderie. They not only love their team, but they love their teammates. There was one point where I took a job in Dallas. I don't know if everybody knows this, but I took a job in Dallas. They were supposed to go to Dallas as well. Like company paid for the move. They gave me like a very nice bonus to move there. And I would say probably within 2 to 3 months of me being in Dallas, Terry sits me down and he says, the boys and I and Zariah don't want to move to Dallas. Zariah was in love with her finest team. The twins were in love with Future. And so I had to stay in Dallas and finish my job. And we lived apart for about a year because it was important. I mean, that was number one for us.
Yeah.
Were rankings important to y'all in middle school?
No.
No, I mean, absolutely not. But, at the same time, as a parent, do they mean something to us? No, absolutely not. But, every parent wants to see their kid's name on something.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it was cool to
let's be
see.
real.
Yeah, it was cool to see. I don't know. I kind of felt like rankings at times could be fluffed. And I say that to say because we would see kids in our own gym and then we would see other kids play.
Those guys that were ranked?
Yeah, the guys that were ranked.
And we're killing them? Just be real.
And we were killing them. Yeah, we were. So, I mean, I felt a long time ago rankings they weren't that important.
Yeah.
So was the focus similar in elementary school and middle school?
Was the focus similar in elementary to middle? We probably picked up the pace quite a bit from elementary to middle because that's when it was about having fun in middle school and elementary and getting them to fall in love with the game. But in middle school, it was really more about getting better. And
I would say getting better and playing basketball the right way.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw what that looked like and we saw what that did for their growth. I remember at one time, Time would shoot the ball and that was a shot that Talon would always make, but Time wasn't necessarily ready for that shot. So it was interesting to see the two, I guess, go to the same trainings, practices, but their development was different. So it really.
Yeah, having twins is tough. It's tough because you got two kids that are doing things at the same time. They're putting in the same amount of work. They're getting the same amount of shots up, going to the same training, but they're different. And they are going to accomplish things at a different time. They're going to do things. One's going to be better than the other one at certain times. One of them is going to be better at other things than the other. And you have to be very patient as a parent to know that, and as a coach, the coaching staff, had to be patient with these guys. And
we learned early on not to compare them to each other.
Yeah.
We also learned early on not to compare them to other kids. We saw in the gym that growth was happening at different times for different people, whether it be their skill or their bodies growing. So it just really depended on the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how was middle school basketball compared to club?
Middle school basketball is terrible. Here,
I mean,
at least here in
I wouldn't call it terrible. It was just different.
Oh no, it's terrible.
Yeah. I would say it's different in a sense that going into middle school, we felt that the kids were so advanced from being around their club coaches that we expected them to be able to be the coaches when necessary. And that's just what we expected because unfortunately we kind of knew, I don't know, I guess the San Antonio system is just very different in an aspect, like you can only play so many quarters.
North side, let's just keep it real. North side, you need to change what you're doing.
You can only score so many points, right?
You can't play back-to-back quarters.
Right.
we were beating teams so bad. I'm gonna put it all out there. We were beating teams so bad in middle school because that with the twins and their guy Donnie, we were beating teams so bad that we got a phone call from somebody in Northside saying that if we beat another team by 40 points, that they were going to make us forfeit the game.
Because at that time we actually went through middle school without any losses. Is that correct?
Yeah, we didn't go.
Yeah, we didn't lose any games in middle school.
But the middle school basketball was so bad, like we had to unlearn bad habits in middle school. Now I feel like it set us back. Like they probably had fun doing it.
They did. They felt like little celebrities.
But it was, I didn't enjoy it. But the question was in compared to club. Like we had a very good AAU basketball team in the program, and I think that our older kids that were a year older, our 2025 kids, set the bar pretty high, and I think they were ranked nationally for a good period. I don't know how long it was, but in the top 5, top 10 nationally, and our 2026 group, who our kids play for, followed in their footsteps and had similar success. And that was probably the most impressive thing, that more than the rankings individually, the team ranking, to know that, you were thought of that highly, and, that kind of puts a target on your back, but we loved it. We loved the atmosphere that kind of brought with it. But it was the work and the gym that we had here in San Antonio that kind of bred that mindset and that approach to the game, to where that was where I kind of had the most fun, was in practice, watching those guys play against each other.
Yep. And I would also say, kind of going back to Zariah, in middle school, since she was such a late player, it was important that she focused on the fundamentals as well. So we had to really, really push skills with her, because she was a late bloomer and we knew that she wanted to play at the next level. So it was important that we caught her up to speed. So, a lot of people don't know this. There's a lot of people in our circle that know this, but I mean, we were getting up in the morning on school days, 5 days a week, in the gym. Before school. So when you think about it, we knew that it was so important for them to focus on their skills. So they would go before school. I mean, I guess we were up at 5 a.m.
They would shower at the Y. That's when we went to the Y.
To the YMCA.
And go straight from the Y to school. Get dressed at the Y and may or may not eat.
No, we fed them. I mean, it was McDonald's every day, but we fed them.
And how did growth spurts and being bigger than everyone else affect their development, do you think?
Wow.
I mean, I would say we had learned early on that kids kind of grow at different rates. One of our twins grew much faster than the other. And, he used to consider himself to be a big guard. But we knew that ultimately they had to focus on their skill set, because we didn't know how tall they were going to be. And so even though they were big, it was still important that they focused on the fundamentals, and being able to handle the ball. I mean, across the country, you would see what other kids were capable of. So we knew we had to keep that as a focus.
Thank you for joining me on their journey. Stay tuned for the next episode where we talk about high school.